testimony today revealing a 14-year-old girl was not the intended target of a deadly ambush this past May.
A police detective testifying multiple gunmen fired from several directions into a car. One of those bullets proving fatal to Ciara Jackson, who was just visiting from Texas. Our investigative reporter Brendan Kirby is live with the details.
And Brendan, police are now calling this a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it certainly appears that way. Byron and Shelby, Madison Davis, the assistant district attorney, calls this a senseless ambush. Testimony today indicates that Ciara was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mobile Police Detective Glenn Barton testified Wednesday that Ciara Jackson was a passenger in a car with two other girls on May 31st. Ciara's 15-year-old aunt was driving. Police say the car was on Michael Donald Avenue headed north when the driver spotted a man in the street with a handgun in his waistband. The driver, according to testimony, hit reverse. Investigators believe that spooked the guy with the gun, who thought he and others in the neighborhood were about to be hit by a group of people from an earlier dispute. Detective Barton says the guy with the gun in his waistband fired at the car, causing it to crash into a parked vehicle. He says that set off a chain reaction with others surrounding the car and shooting. Ciara's grandmother from Texas, Frida Jackson, attended today's hearing and visited the street where it happened. She and other family members wore orange as a symbol against gun violence.
Where is her justice? She can't speak again. She will never go to prom. She will never marry. Please, y'all, put these guns down. It's tearing us apart.
Detective Barton testified that witnesses helped police to identify two of the shooters as 18-year-old Lamonier Forrest and a 16-year-old relative who hasn't been named because of his age. Detective Barton says police believe Archie Pettit, who is dating Forrest's mother, is the man who fired the first shots. Detective Barton says 9mm shell casings recovered from the street match a Glock pistol that police seized 3 weeks after the shooting during an unrelated arrest. Because the evidence indicates that the suspects thought they were shooting at someone else, defense attorneys argue it's not a capital murder case.
In most of these cases, capital murder is overcharged, and so there has to be a specific intent to commit murder. But I think in this case, you're going to find that there's a lot more to it, and that Lamonier, my client, is not the one that the focus of the case.
Pettit's lawyer, Buzz Jordan, says prosecutors can't even prove his client shot the victim.
I think the evidence is going to show that my client did not fire into the car, period. I don't think they're having any ballistic evidence that my client fired into the car. So he cannot be charged with capital murder, convicted of capital murder.
The judge found sufficient evidence to send capital murder charges against all three defendants to a grand jury. Detective Barton says that this is an ongoing investigation and that others may have fired. Reporting live from Government Plaza, Brendan Kirby, Fox 10 News.
Hey guys, welcome back to EB 25 to Life. Today, I ran into this very, very sad news. This very sad tragedy that just basically happened not too long ago, a few days ago. This young girl that you see on the picture here, Ciara Jackson, who was 14 years old, passes away from a gunshot. Basically, she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Not sure if if the way from what I'm hearing, basically she was just wrong place at the wrong time. And to backtrack right quick. So earlier that day before this all goes down, right? This kid who's basically, I'm gonna show you this kid right here. His name is Forrest. He's 16 years old. Basically it all started with him and a group of other guys, right? He was basically hanging out in front of his neighborhood, and he got into an altercation with a group of other guys, and one thing led to another. The other guys told him that they were coming back for him, so they left the scene, right? And him hearing that, right, he's basically assuming that they were coming back to shoot him. So what happened was, he basically went and grabbed his stepdad and told him about it. His stepdad came and then called a few other people, and then all of a sudden everybody's hanging outside waiting for the guys to come back. The guys who threatened his stepson and all that stuff. So while they were outside waiting, here comes a car. Random car they never seen in the neighborhood before, right? So here come the car strolling up, and in the car is Ciara, her auntie who was driving, and and two other girls in the back seat, right? So while they were pulling up, her aunt, right? She saw a group of guys outside, and one of the guys had a gun on his waist belt, right? She kind of panics because she didn't know what was going on. She stops the car, put it on reverse, basically trying to get out of the way because she's thinking that, what's going on here? Why is the guys on the road, side of the road, whatever, with guns? And the guy with the gun, of course, seeing that, in his mind, he's thinking that, oh my God, it's the guys that came back to do a drive-by. Pulled out his pistol, shot at the car. The aunt who was driving panics even more, right? Hit the gas and crashed into another car. Once the bullet hit the door, she hit the gas, right? Scared. And after she crashed, everyone that was outside waiting, right, basically bum rushed the car and started shooting at it, thinking that it was the same guys that they were waiting for. I mean, it's a miracle that it was only Ciara who ended up passing. I don't know how all of them didn't die in that predicament. All four of them, the girls that was in the car. It's a tragedy, man. It's crazy, right? I mean, it's like all assuming it, so they all ran to the car and started shooting. And when the smoke cleared out, of course, they found out it was the wrong car. It was the wrong people. It was just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. And cops came, of course. They trying to explain the story. Yeah, you can say what you want, but somebody died, which means somebody got to go to jail. So the stepdad, I believe his name was Archie. Him right here. He's the first one they basically picked up because he's the oldest. I think he's 50 years old or something. So he's the one they picked up first. And plus they basically trying to blame most of this on him. I don't feel bad for him at all. I mean, dude, you an OG. Why are you leading your little kids? 16-year-olds to do some crazy. Why? I mean, come on, man. You're supposed to be better than that. If they have issues, you handle that by yourself. You don't bring them with you. And if they have issues, you go handle it. Don't bring them with you to go handle. They 16 years old, man. So basically he's getting arrested. He was the first one to get arrested. And they're also saying that he was the first one to shoot at the car. That causes the aunt to panic and crashes and all that stuff happen after. So they saying that he was the first one to shoot. Basically trying to play it all on him, I think, at this point, because he's the oldest. If anybody's gonna do the time, a lot of time for this, it's gonna be him. The other kids, they be in charge as adults, but they young. I don't think they're gonna do a lot of time. Knowing the circumstances and all that, even though somebody died, it's more of manslaughter, if anything. If that's something, I'm not sure how that works, but worst case scenario, it's gonna be maybe a 3rd degree murder, which is also bad. So they're gonna be looking at 20 years, right? So these kids will be out early 30s if they do get the max. But as far as him goes, he's 50 years old. They won't give him life. He should have known better, right? And so basically, that's why I think they're trying to say that he's the one that shoot first. Basically, trying to put it all on him and save the kids. If I'm him, well, I don't know what his mindset is. I don't think the kids that was involved is his biological kid. I think it was a stepson and another kid. They didn't say if the other kid who was 15, who was also shooting at the car, they didn't say if that was his son or not. So, but if he, I'm not sure if he's gonna take any charges for these kids, because I don't think he's really. I don't think he's related to him to the point where he would do that. But and of course his lawyer saying that he had nothing to do with it. He never shot. So there is that. He's already taken himself out of it. And it's just unfortunate, man. You know, a young kid had to die at 14. You know, over something that had nothing to do with her. You know, still in high school. Didn't even graduate yet. You know, it's just got a whole life ahead of her, right? And this happens, right? From what I can see, basically based on everything, the evidence and all that stuff that occurs, it's gonna be a tough case to try. I'm not sure if there was any cameras on site, if because it doesn't look like there was, because there would have been a video about it by now. So it's only a matter of witnesses now, and you gotta find people who's willing to point the finger and say who was doing what. You know, if that don't happen, it's gonna be strictly relying on fingerprints on the bullets and stuff, just to match, you know, who did what, who shot what. And if there's no fingerprints, no, that's no witnesses corroborating on that, it's gonna be tough to trial all three of them. You know, yeah, they were on the scene and everything else, but which one of them shot the car? Who really killed? Who took the fatal shot? And it's gonna be tough to prove. And they're gonna be. I mean, I think witnesses is gonna be heavily relied on. And it's just unfortunate, man. It's pretty sad, man. It's one of those stories where, you know, it's kind of hurt to just talk about it, because it's like she didn't deserve this, man. You know, she was just, you know, probably in the car having fun, listening to music, right? Her friends and all that stuff, and boom, you know, and her life just ended right there on the spot, you know. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys, man. Like and subscribe to the channel. Peace, man.